Why do you lose interest so fast in everything? Be honest. How many times have you started something feeling excited, motivated, fully engaged, only to lose interest days later? A new habit, a new goal, even a relationship. At first, it feels intense, almost addictive. But then, something fades. The excitement disappears. Your focus weakens, and suddenly, you don't feel like continuing anymore. So you stop. Not because it was impossible, but because it no longer felt good. And that's the trap. Today, your mind is not trained to stay. It's trained to chase new things, fast rewards, constant stimulation. And the moment something requires patience, effort, or consistency, you lose interest. Not because you're weak, but because you were conditioned this way. And if you don't understand this, you'll keep starting and never finishing. Here's what's really happening. Your brain got addicted to novelty, not progress, not mastery. Novelty. Something new, something different, something instant. Every scroll and every notification, every short video gives you a small hit of pleasure. Fast, easy, effortless. And your mind learns something dangerous. If it's not immediate, it's not worth it. So when you start something real, a goal, a skill, a relationship, it feels slow, too slow. There's no instant reward, no constant stimulation, just effort, repetition, silence, and your brain rejects it. It starts looking for something else, something easier, something new. That's why you jump from one thing to another, not because you lack potential, but because your mind was trained to avoid depth. Seneca warned about this in a different way. To be everywhere is to be nowhere. Think about that. If your attention is always moving, you never go deep enough to build anything real. And without depth, everything becomes temporary. Now look at the cost of this. Not in theory, but in your real life. You start things and don't finish. You make plans and abandon them. You feel motivated and lose it days later. And over time, something begins to happen. You stop trusting yourself because deep down, you know the pattern: excitement, effort, distraction, quit. And this doesn't just affect your habits, it affects everything. Your money, you chase quick results instead of building something stable. Your relationships, you lose interest. Hence things stop feeling intense. Your identity, you don't know who you are because you're always changing direction. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You must build your life action by action." But how can you build anything if you never stay long enough? That's the real problem. It's not lack of discipline, it's lack of consistency. And consistency requires staying, even when it stops feeling exciting. Here's where most people get it wrong. They follow how they feel. If they feel motivated, they act. If they don't, they stop. Simple as that. But this is exactly what keeps them stuck. Because feelings are unstable. They change constantly. One day you feel focused, the next day you don't. One moment you're inspired, the next, distracted. If your actions depend on that, your life becomes inconsistent, unreliable, weak. The Stoics understood this clearly. Epictetus taught, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In other words, stop waiting to feel ready. Act anyway. Because discipline is not emotional, it's intentional. You don't move because you feel like it. You move because you decided. And this changes everything, because when you stop obeying your feelings, you stop losing interest so easily. You become stable, predictable, in control. There's something you need to understand. Interest is cheap. Commitment is rare. Interest feels good. It's exciting. Light. Easy. You start something because you want to. But commitment is different. It begins when the excitement ends, when it's no longer new, when it's no longer fun, when it becomes work, That's the moment most people leave, because they were never committed. They were just interested, and interest doesn't survive difficulty. Seneca said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Think about that. The moment something becomes hard, your mind looks for an escape, something easier, something new. But every time you leave, you reinforce the habit of quitting. And every time you stay out, you build strength. That's the difference, not talent, not luck, but the decision to remain when it stops being easy. So how do you fix this? How do you stop losing interest and start staying? You train your mind to tolerate boredom. Yes, boredom. Because that's what you've been avoiding. Silence, repetition, slow progress. That's where most people quit. So you do the opposite. You stay. Even when it feels dull. Even when nothing exciting is happening. Even when your mind says, "This isn't worth it." Because that voice is not truth, it's conditioning. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." That means this: you don't need more motivation. You need more control. Start small, finish what you begin. Even if it's simple, even if it's imperfect, because every time you finish something, you rewire your mind. From chasing to building, from quitting to staying. Now pause for a second and look at your own life. Where are you losing interest? Be honest. That goal you abandoned, that habit you started and dropped, that plan you were excited about until it required consistency. It's all connected. Not lack of time, not lack of ability, but lack of stability. And the moment you see this, something changes, because now it's no longer unconscious. You start noticing the pattern. The moment your mind wants to escape, the moment things stop feeling exciting, the moment you want something new. And instead of following it blindly, you question it. You stay a little longer, you push a little further, and if this is starting to make sense, then you're already doing something different. You're paying attention. And that is where control begins. The Stoics didn't focus on intensity, they focused on consistency, because they understood something most people ignore. Your life is not built by what excites you, but by what you repeat. Every action, every habit, every decision to stay or leave is shaping who you become. So when you constantly lose interest, you're not just stopping tasks, you're building an identity, someone who starts but doesn't finish. But the opposite is also true. Every time you stay, even when it's boring, even when it's hard, you become someone different, stronger, more stable, more in control. Epictetus taught, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." This is the shift. You stop asking, "What do I feel like doing?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming if I continue this?" Because in the end, it's not about interest, it's about identity. So now you see it clearly. The problem was never that you lose interest. The problem is you follow it every time without question, without resistance, and that's what keeps you stuck. But now, you have a choice. The next time something feels boring, the next time the excitement fades, the next time your mind says find something else, pause. And remember this: growth lives on the other side of repetition. Strength is built when things feel slow, and control is choosing to stay. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." So instead of escaping difficulty, use it. Instead of chasing interest, build discipline. Now tell me, where in your life have you been starting but not finishing? Write it in the comments. And if you want to build a mind that doesn't get distracted so easily, that stays focused even when things get hard, subscribe to the channel. Because while most people keep chasing what feels good, a disciplined mind builds what actually lasts.